You don't need to chase after those who hurt you, plotting ways to make them pay. Life has a way of handling things with a precision that's almost poetic. The ones who betrayed you, who looked you in the eye and lied, who took your trust and twisted it, they might think they've gotten away clean, but they're mistaken. Karma doesn't work on your clock. It's slow, deliberate, and always on time. It doesn't miss a single moment of your pain. The nights you spent staring at the ceiling, the times you questioned your worth, the quiet ache you carried while they moved on without a care. Karma gathers every fragment of that hurt and shapes it into a truth they'll face when they're least ready. Let's take a moment to really dig into this. You showed up with everything you had. Your heart was open, your loyalty was solid, your honesty was the kind that didn't need a spotlight to shine. While they were busy playing games, weaving lies and calculating their next move, you stood steady. You cared deeply without keeping a tally of what you were owed. You weren't perfect, no one is, but you were real. That realness was something rare, something powerful. In a world that often calls kindness soft and vulnerability a liability, you chose to be different. That's not just brave. It's a kind of mental toughness that takes years to build. But then they turned your openness into something they could use. They took your trust and made it a weapon against you. They saw your loyalty and thought they could bend it to serve their own ends. When they were done, they walked away like it was nothing, like you were nothing. And now maybe you're watching them from a distance, seeing their social media posts, their laughter, their new circles, and it feels like they're winning. They're out there living while you're still picking up the pieces of what they broke. Here's the reality. They're not winning. They're pretending. They're piling on distractions, new faces, new places, new bursts of attention to keep the truth at bay. That truth, it's not so easily escaped. It's the voice that speaks when the world goes quiet, when the party ends, when the likes stop coming in. It's the whisper that reminds them of what they did, of the trust they shattered, of the heart they left behind. They can't outrun it forever. That's when karma steps in, not with loud chaos or public shame, but with a slow, steady unraveling of their carefully built lies. It's the weight of their own actions settling in, the moment they realize they traded something rare for something empty, something fleeting. Karma isn't some magical enforcer out to punish for the sake of it. It's the natural order of things, as certain as the seasons changing. You can't plant lies and expect to grow trust. You can't sow betrayal and hope for peace. You can't water deceit and think you'll harvest love. The seeds they planted are already taking root, growing quietly beneath the surface. They might not feel the consequences today or tomorrow, but those roots are spreading, and when they finally break through, the truth will be undeniable. The universe doesn't forget. It's patient, strategic, and it always delivers. You don't need to push it along or wish them ill. Your role isn't to make them pay, it's to make yourself whole. Let's turn the focus to you because you're the heart of this story. Their betrayal doesn't define who you are. It reveals who they are. You didn't lose when they walked away. You gained the space to become something stronger, something brighter. They didn't leave because you weren't enough. They left because your depth made their shallowness feel exposed. Your authenticity was a mirror they couldn't face, not because it was weak, but because it was powerful. Your love, your trust, your realness, that's not a flaw. That's a gift. And gifts like that don't lose their value just because someone couldn't handle them. So what do you do now? You rise, not to prove a point, not to show them up, but because staying stuck in their betrayal is a slow kind of poison. You take the pain they left you with and turn it into something purposeful. Let their lies sharpen your ability to read people. Let their absence teach you who deserves your time and who doesn't. Let their betrayal build boundaries so strong that no one will ever cross them again. You're not here to dim your light because someone couldn't handle its brightness. You're here to grow, to create, to become so steady that their choices can't shake you. One of the most powerful choices you can make is forgiveness. Now let's be clear, forgiveness isn't about letting them back in or acting like their actions didn't hurt. It's not about giving them a free pass or pretending the pain wasn't real. Forgiveness is about you. It's about refusing to let their betrayal take up space in your heart. It's about breaking the chains that keep you tied to their mistakes so you can move toward your purpose with nothing holding you back. Holding on to anger or resentment is like carrying a heavy load you were never meant to bear. You can't run toward your dreams when you're weighed down by someone else's wrongs. Forgiveness isn't a single moment, it's a journey. Some days you'll feel it deeply, like a burden lifting. Other days you'll have to choose it again, even when it feels hard. But every time you choose forgiveness, you're reclaiming your power. You're saying, you don't get to control my peace. You don't get to keep me trapped in the past. You're clearing out mental and emotional space to focus on what matters: your growth, your goals, your joy. Forgiveness doesn't mean they win. It means you're done, letting their actions define you. It's a mark of emotional strength, a sign that you're choosing clarity over chaos, purpose over pain. Let's talk about those moments when it feels like they're getting away with it all. You see their posts, their smiles, their new life, and it stings. You wonder if karma's even watching, if justice will ever show up. Trust me, it's already at work. What you're seeing is a performance, not the truth. Nobody posts their regrets. Nobody shares the nights they lie awake wondering what they lost. Nobody captions their loneliness or the quiet ache that follows them. But those moments are there, and they're heavier than any filter can hide. They might look like they're thriving, but inside they're wrestling with a truth they can't escape. Karma doesn't always arrive with a loud crash. Sometimes it's quiet, a doubt they can't shake, an emptiness they can't fill, a life that looks full but feels hollow. They might never admit they were wrong. They might never say sorry or give you the closure you think you need. And that's okay. You don't need their words to move forward. You don't need their regret to reclaim your worth. Your healing is your closure. Your peace is your power. Your progress is the answer they never expected. Think about what they lost when they walked away. It wasn't just you. They lost something far rarer. They lost someone who loved without conditions, who showed up with loyalty in a world full of games, who offered a kind of depth most people spend their lives searching for. They traded that for something shallow, something temporary, and they'll feel that loss in waves. Not all at once, but in the small, quiet moments. When the music stops, when the crowd fades, when they're alone with their thoughts. That's when your absence echoes loudest. That's when they realize they didn't just walk away from a person, they walked away from something true, something steady, something real. Your job now is to keep moving forward. Build a life so full, so aligned, so radiant that their absence becomes a footnote. Surround yourself with people who don't just accept your love, they treasure it. Set standards so high that only those with integrity can meet them. Work on yourself, your mind, your heart, your soul, not to prove anything to them, but to honor the person you're becoming. While they're out there chasing likes, validation, and noise, you're cultivating something deeper: purpose. While they're running from their truth, you're walking in yours. While they're performing for the world, you're building for yourself. One day life will hold up its mirror and they'll see what they lost. Not because you fought back or called them out, but because your light shines brighter without them. They'll see you thriving, not just surviving, but truly living. And it'll hit them harder than any revenge you could have planned. They'll realize they didn't just lose a person. They lost a foundation, a presence, a kind of love that's rare in a world full of mass. And that truth will weigh on them, not because you made it happen, but because life always reveals what's real. You're not the victim of their betrayal. You're the proof that strength rises above it. You're the evidence that karma works, not just in their consequences, but in your comeback. So let them keep their stories, their performances, their temporary wins. You've got something they can't touch: a soul that's healing, a heart that's growing, a life that's unfolding into something they'll never get to claim. Keep your focus forward. Let karma do its work. Let life deliver its truth. The greatest response to betrayal isn't revenge. It's a life so powerful, so peaceful, so true that their choices can't dim your light. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And that's the truth that speaks loudest.